Well, hi everyone. I'm just getting a few last things set up. We'll start in about 26 seconds, as you can see on the timer. I think everything so far is working pretty good. I'll do a little audio check in a moment, and then we'll get going. So we're starting in 14 seconds. I hope you are ready to learn just a little bit of English. Little audio check there, 2 seconds to go. Here we go. Hello and welcome to this English lesson where you get to ask me questions and I try my best to answer them. I just love doing this every Saturday. It is a lot of fun for me. It's a lot of fun to have people from all over the world come and spend some time together to improve their knowledge of the English language. So I'm really happy that I can be here to help you. It is one of the best parts of my day on Saturday. But not as good as the nap I take on Saturday afternoons, but I do really enjoy this. I'm glad to see a lot of familiar names here in the chat. I see Todd and Dave, of course, are here to moderate the chat for us. So it's good to see the two of them. I see Huang Vo and Lolly Lolly and Ming Yi and Sam the Taiwanese. And I also see Julia Olise and Bernadette is here. Eduardo is here. Tempora is here. So many familiar names. It's good to see all of you. Semra is here as well. I just want to say hi. So how does this work? I'm going to spend about an hour answering questions that you send to me using the form in the chat. So if you look in the chat, you'll see that Todd, the Canadian, has shared a form, a link to a form. You can use that to ask me a question. There are already questions that have been submitted, so I should just get started. Before I do, please keep the chat in English. Please use the chat to have small conversations with each other. Please don't ask questions in the chat because it's a little too fast for me to see the questions there. But let's get started. Let me get the first question ready, and we will get this English lesson going. Let me see here. Yes, let's do this one. So this first question is from Mike. Hi, Bob. Could you use the words pander and hunky-dory in example sentences? Thanks in advance. So when you pander to someone, it means you behave in a way that they like because you want to get something. So you're nice to them, you're kind to them, you maybe buy them coffee, you pander to them. I'm going to look up the actual dictionary definition so that we have a good solid base for it. Gratify or indulge someone's need or habit, okay? So when you do something to make someone happy, the term hunky-dory is slang. I think it's slang. It's certainly informal. When you say everything is hunky-dory, it means everything is okay. So I could do this. I could say, let me check. Oop, I'm bumping my microphone. Let me check the audio here. The audio is good. Let me check some other things. Everything is hunky-dory. So I could say that right now with the live stream, everything is working well. I could also say everything is hunky-dory. So you're making me smile with that phrase, Mike, because it is a phrase that we use. I just forgot that English had some really funny phrases like that. So anyways, right now everything's hunky-dory. Let's see. Marianne. Hi, Bob. My question is, so is the same as that's right. So if someone says something that's correct, I would say that's right. I wouldn't say so is. You might flip it and say is so. No, I'm just going to leave that one. Definitely we say that's right, but we don't say so is. So I'm not sure exactly. I'll have to think about that one. That would be a good one to ask in the comments below, and maybe I can research that later today. Johan from Quebec. Hi, Bob. I would like you to pronounce bazaar and explain the difference between bazaar and a rummage sale. We usually call it a rummage sale. Thanks a lot. So a bazaar in Canada, a bazaar is usually a fundraiser that's done by a school or a church or an organization that wants to raise money. So they'll have a bazaar. At the bazaar, they'll sell food, they'll sell used clothing, they might sell plants, they might sell, it's basically just a place where they try to make a little bit of money. A rummage sale is more like a garage sale. So a rummage sale is where people sell their old stuff to try to make money. I do want to pause and say hi to a bunch of people. So hi to Sita, hi to Lolly Lolly, I said hi to already. Hi to Norma, Panthera Nori is here. Hi to A for Anna, and Madi is here as well. Lubika is here. Let me just scroll through. Brent from American English with This Guy is here. By the way, if you want to learn more English on a Saturday morning, if it's morning for you, Brent usually does a live stream before my live stream. So check out his channel at some point and have a look at that. Moto Explorer is here. And then a few other people. Really awesome. Let me get to the next question though, because that's really why we're all here. I don't think we're all here for me to say hi to you, but I do want to say hi to Alina, who's here as well. And I should try pronouncing her last name for once. Ustyanseva, Elena. So good to see you too as well. Let me get to the next question. I'm talking too much. Ruslan is a regular here. It's good to see your name as well. Hello, Teacher Bob. If you would have to choose a specialty, something different and unusual, like an astronaut, for example, what would you choose? Best wishes, sir. So Ruslan is asking if I wasn't a teacher. So for those of you that don't know, I teach high school during the day, and I do YouTube on the side. If I could choose something else, what would I be? You know, astronaut has always been something that interested me, but I think when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a helicopter pilot. And that never happened. I never became a helicopter pilot. That's good for all of you, because I think if I was a helicopter pilot, I wouldn't be teaching English here on YouTube. So that's what I would choose, Ruslan, helicopter pilot. Oh, Daniel. No, I don't, Daniel. Dear Teacher Bob, do you as a native understand all the sentences in Eminem's songs? For example, Toy Soldiers. I often have problems, thank you. So Eminem, when he raps very quickly. So I usually, when I'm listening to a song like that, even as a native speaker, I need to pull the lyrics up on the screen so I can read along. It's very challenging to understand what he's saying. He does rap very clearly, but I do have to pull the words up or pull the lyrics up so that I can see them. Let's see here. Vito. Hi, Bob. What is the meaning of the sentence that will change you from the inside out? Have a great day. It means it will be a complete change, that it won't just be a change that you see on the surface. Sometimes people change, but it's just on the surface. They haven't really changed. So if you change from the inside out, it means you've made a complete change in your life. So if you were to, let's say you didn't exercise and you started exercising, that would probably change you from the inside out. It would change all of you. You would get thinner, you would be healthier, you would have bigger muscles, etc., etc. So Athanasios says, hello, dear Teacher Bob. How are you today, sir? I'm good, Athanasios. What do you call the door behind you? It escapes me in this very moment. Thank you. Those are called French doors. I'm not sure why. Maybe Lolly Lolly or one of our other French speakers can tell me why we would call those in English. We call them French doors. When we have doors with all small panes of glass, we say that it is a French door. So the doors behind me are called French doors, Athanasios. That is the name for them. Hey, I see, pretty sure Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, is here as well. Oh yes, there he is in the chat. I do want to say hi to him. Rod is actually doing an interview. There's a video 5 minutes after I'm done on his channel where he is doing an interview with another English YouTube teacher. So if you have some time, you should watch that. Let's see here. The question from Frank is, can I put adverbs before a modal verb like I always can instead of I can always? Thanks in advance. So let me think, how would I say it? Let me think of an example sentence, Frank. So I can always answer questions when my students ask them. I always can answer questions when my students ask them. The second one, I can always answer questions, sounds the most smooth. The first one, I always can answer questions. It sounds a little rough, and I think it's somewhat incorrect, but you will hear people say it that way. Sometimes we do flip things around, even when we're not supposed to. It's pretty common for English speakers to do that. Okay. So Olya says, what is the difference between to blow off and blow away? The wind can blow my hat off or away. So first of all, these phrasal verbs have two meanings, okay? So the wind can blow off your hat. Once your hat has been blown off your head, the wind can blow it away, okay? So when the hat is on your head, the wind can blow it off. Once the hat is off your head, it can blow away, okay? But they also have two other meanings. I could blow something off. So let's say I had a meeting with a friend. I could just blow it off, which means I don't go to the meeting. And then when you are blown away, it means that something was amazing. So if you went to a concert and it was awesome, you could say, I was blown away. So a couple of different meanings there for those. I know the second one, I was using blown away instead of blow away. But you could say, oh, you could really be blown away by the concert. Yeah, I'll stick with that example. Let me see here. Next question. So Mehmet says, hi, why do we call some animals he and others we call she? Well, it depends on the gender of the animal. So Oscar is a boy. So he is a male dog. So we refer to him as he. We have a cat. The cat is female. We refer to the cat as she. You can also use it to refer to pets if you don't know the name of the gender of the pet. So you could say, oh, your dog is so cute. Is it a boy or a girl? So you can see there how we use the word it as well. But generally, we do refer to pets by their gender. So I could say, when I go outside to make a video, Oscar likes to come out with me. He runs around and sniffs the ground behind me. I think he's looking for rabbits right now. Let's see here. I see in the chat someone saying, can you speak slowly, sir? I'm trying to speak as clearly as I can. That's usually about as slow as I can go before it gets really boring. So I don't speak a lot more slowly than I normally do in everyday speech, just a touch more slowly. Let's see here. Next question is from I'm Sudari. Hi, my beloved teacher. Hope you're doing good. Can you please explain what's the difference between thrilled and excited? Thank you. So I will be thrilled when this pandemic is over. I will be excited when this pandemic is over. They mean the same thing. I think thrilled, though, is a little more excited than excited, okay? So if I was excited to get a present on my birthday, if I said I was thrilled, I think thrilled is a little more excited. I think it's just one level more excited than the other one. Let me see. Next question here. Yes, I can do this. So Bernadette says, hello, Bob. Could you please pronounce the word kitchen, especially the vowel E? Are there different pronunciations for this word? So in the morning, I go to the kitchen and I make myself a cup of coffee. Usually when I go to the kitchen, I'm happy if all the dishes are done. Sometimes at night, we leave the dishes in the kitchen and we don't do them till the next morning. So there's a bunch of example sentences with the word kitchen. The E is very, very short, isn't it? Kitchen, kitchen. And it almost sounds like a short I. Like it sounds like I'm saying in kitchen. So kitchen. Now I've said it so many times it sounds funny to me. But definitely, my office is actually right beside the kitchen, which makes it really easy to get snacks. Let's see here. So Vanch says, hi, Bob. How are you? I'm good. I'm from India. Awesome. Could you tell the difference between would and may? Might also tell, are may and might interchangeable, and what does the slang word ta mean? So I don't know the slang word ta, but the difference between would and may. So if I say, I may go to the store this afternoon, there's a possibility it won't happen. If I say, I would go to the store today, but I can't, it means there was the possibility I was going to, but I'm not going to. And I'm kind of messing this up a bit. So why don't we say this? This is better learned in a longer video. So I'll try to make a longer video on this at some point. But I would say I might or I may is definitely interchangeable. Yes, I might have a snack this afternoon. I may have a snack this afternoon. Those two would both work. So Arturo says, what is the best way to learn phrasal verbs. So a little correction there. To learn phrasal verbs, have a nice weekend. I think one of the best ways to learn phrasal verbs is by reading and kind of getting an understanding of what's happening in the sentence. The other way that's really good to learn phrasal verbs is to watch a YouTube video about phrasal verbs. I have a couple that might be helpful. If you search for Bob the Canadian phrasal verbs, I think I made 3 or 4, and I try to act out the phrasal verbs, and I think that's very helpful as well. So that's what I would do if you are trying to learn phrasal verbs. Let's see here. Next question is from Arena. Hi, Teacher Bob. Please explain the difference between to conjure and to summon up. Thank you. Best wishes from Ukraine. So when you're trying to conjure something up or you're trying to summon something up, you're trying to think of it. You know, I'm trying to conjure up an idea. I'm trying to summon up an idea. And they both kind of come from the idea of magic. In magic, you conjure and summon, but we use it when we're talking about ideas as well. You know, they've been meeting for 2 hours. They're trying to conjure up a plan for tomorrow's workday. So it's when you're trying to think of something. Let's see here. Abel from Texas. Hello, Bob. I hope you're doing great. What's the meaning of mainstream school? Thank you for your great lessons. So there are several different kinds of schools in Canada and in the United States. There are public schools, there are private schools, there are charter schools, there are magnet schools. There's a number of different kinds of schools. A mainstream school, in my definition, would be the local public school that's run by the government. So a mainstream school would be the biggest school in the area. And in our area, that's usually the local public school. So that's what I think they would mean by a mainstream school. Gizmo. Hi, Gizmo. Hi, Teacher Bob. How are you doing? Should I use his name is or his name was? Thanks and have a nice day. So if I met someone 3 weeks ago and I was telling Jen about it, I would say, I met a guy, his name was Joe. So even though his name still is Joe, I would still refer to it in the past. I would say his name was Joe. He was a really cool guy. We had a cup of coffee. I could use his name is Joe as well. I could talk in the present, but generally I would still use the name was. It doesn't mean that Joe is no longer around. It's definitely totally a good way to refer to him. Let's see here. Next question is from Fulia. And Fulia says, hi, could you explain the difference between your being here means a lot and you being here means a lot? Thanks in advance. So first of all, your being here means a lot and you being here means a lot mean exactly the same thing. And you could use them interchangeably. So there's no difference between if I said, Rod, the Brazilian English teacher is here, and I could say, Rod, your being here means a lot. Or I could say, Rod, you being here means a lot. So both of them mean the same thing. I don't know why we have 2 different phrases. That's a little bit strange. I am just going to do a audio check for a sec. Let me do that. It looks like everything's working good. I'm enjoying doing a live stream where I face a window. I have a lot of natural light. I have my normal light as well that I can turn on and off, but I have a lot of natural light, and I like that. It feels nice to be able to see outside while I'm doing that. Manar has the next question. Hey, Bob, could you please tell me the meaning of every now and then and every other day? Thanks. Okay, so every now and then means there's not a predictable repetition, okay? So if I say during the live stream, every now and then I take a sip of water, it means I do it when I'm thirsty. I'm not taking a sip of water every 5 minutes. So there's a little bit of randomness to it, okay? So if you do something every now and then, you do it every once in a while. When you do something every other day, though, it means you do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or you do it on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So there's actually a set amount of time between everything. So definitely every now and then, could be Monday, could be Friday, but when you say every other day, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. That's how you would do it. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to skip the next question from Kenneth. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, I'll pull this one up, Kenneth. This is a little tricky to explain quickly, but Kenneth is saying, hi, Bob, can you explain the grammar conjunction as and as if? As was her wont, she slept until noon, or she adapted to life on the estate as if to the manner born. So the first one, when you say as was her wont, by the way, this is very old English. You must be reading something that's been written a long time ago. Because modern English, we would say, as was normal for her, she slept till noon, okay? We wouldn't even say until, we would say till. So the as simply introduces the idea that something was something she did all the time. Hope that made some sense. In the second one, when you do as if, you're comparing. So you're basically saying she adapted to life on the estate as if to the manner born. So I know these are tricky sentences because we don't use constructs like this very often anymore. In the second sentence, we would say she got used to life on the estate as if she had already lived there. Yeah, it's tricky, Kenneth. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have tried to answer this one. I'm not doing a great job. So tricky, definitely a tricky one to explain quickly and to explain well. Bob the Canadian doesn't always have the answers. That's how this works. Some of the questions are easy, but some of them are just a little bit too complex for me to think of a good answer right away. So sorry about that. Dina, though, says, you are the best teacher ever. I like your way of teaching. I'm going to switch the in for an of. How can I pronounce continue? So I'm going to continue to answer questions right now. I'm going to continue answering questions for about 40 more minutes. You can hear me use the word continue. When you continue something, it means that you keep doing it. So hopefully that made sense. Continue. Continue is how you pronounce it. Let's see here. So SL Lanka, I would have to use the dictionary as well for these two words. My question is, so let me back up. SL Lanka says, hi, Bob. How are you doing? I'm doing good. My question is, what's the meaning of the words escrow and litigious? I looked up the meaning of these words, but I couldn't understand correctly. So when you put something in escrow, it means that you've put it away, and like when you put money in escrow, it means you've put money in a place where you can't get the money out until you have a legal reason to get it out. And then when you're litigious, it means that, so you like to sue people. You like to take people to court. So there you go. Two words that I don't use very often, but now we all know the meaning to. So Daria says, hi, Teacher Bob. I feel like I'm at a certain level in English learning now, like C. What activities do you think would help me improve my English from now? Thanks. So first of all, let me explain the levels. When you do your testing with the European framework, there's level A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. C2 is the highest, A1 is the lowest. So if you are a level C, it means that you have a very good understanding of the English language. So you should definitely do this. You should be reading English novels, very difficult English novels. You should definitely be living most of your day in English when you can, in terms of music, television, and all those things. In order to get from C1 to C2 or to stay there, you'll want to be speaking with a native English speaker for a couple hours a week, just to keep your level at that. Usually people have trouble getting to the C level without living in a country where people speak English. So you just need to read what native English speakers read. You need to watch what native English speakers watch, definitely. Let's see here. Brand says, I meet him some days. I meet him someday means I will meet him. And another one, footing is used with an A, on a firm footing or without. So you can, let me do the first one first. If you say I will meet him someday, it means that at some point in the future you will meet him. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year. I will meet him someday. The other one, when you say someone is on firm footing or on a firm footing, you can use it with or without the A. Like if I was to say, before you throw the ball, you would want to make sure you're on firm footing or on a firm footing. I would use the A. It sounds a little bit better to me, but I think you could definitely use both. Hey, I do want to pause and say hi to the 531 people watching. If you're new here, there is a little red subscribe button there. You should click it, and then you will be a subscriber on my channel, and then you'll get notified when I do new English lessons. For those of you that don't know, I'm Bob the Canadian. I teach English here on YouTube. I do a live lesson every Friday morning. So yesterday we did a live lesson on things that make you happy. On Saturdays, I do this live question and answer lesson. And on Tuesdays, I put out a shorter, usually funnier English lesson on my channel. And if you missed this past week's, I'll put a link in the chat for a sec to it. You can go and watch it. This past week, I did a video where I acted out 60 action verbs. And that video is very popular. It kind of surprised me. A lot of people watched it and a lot of people liked it. So it was kind of fun. Let me see here. Let's get to the next question. Ario says, hola, Mr. Bob. What does Bob mean? Sorry, Mr. Bob. Hee hee. So my name is Bob, which is actually short for Robert. So Robert is my official name, but Bob is the short form of my name. It's kind of a nickname. But Bob is also a verb in English. If you throw something in the water, if you throw something in a lake and it floats, it will bob, okay? As the waves go by, it will go up and down, and that's the verb to bob. So thanks, Ario. That is what Bob means. Let's see here. Eduardo. Good morning, Bob. I was hammered. Is it similar to a hangover? Thanks. So no, they are both related to drinking too much alcohol. But when you drink a lot of alcohol and you are drunk, you might also describe it as being hammered. A hangover is how you feel several hours later, usually the next morning. So you could say something like this. I drank too much last night and I was hammered. When I woke up this morning, I had a hangover. So there are two different descriptions of someone who is drinking too much alcohol, for sure. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, Ibrahim, yes. When I am reading a new word and it starts with a C, how would I know to pronounce it with a K or C sound at the start? Thanks. So you're talking about words like cloud, where it's a hard C, or city, where it's more of an S sound. I think you need to start to look things up using an online dictionary that has a little button you can press to hear the pronunciation. That's really probably, to me, the best way to do it, is to just hear the computer pronounce it, even if it's kind of like a little bit of a robotic voice, for sure. Let's see here. Natalia. Please tell us about the sizes in Canada using your example. For example, what is your height, clothing size? I think you are 180 centimeters and size XXL. I'm right? Well, you might be right on one of them. So I'm 5'10", and I don't actually know what that is in centimeters. I'm probably about 179 centimeters tall, but I am not an XXL. This shirt that I'm wearing is a large, which would be an L. I usually buy shirts that are either XL or L. So sizes work this way. S is small, M is medium, L is large, XL is extra large, and XXL is extra, extra large. So really, really big. So I'm usually somewhere between an extra large and a large. I think most of my t-shirts are extra large. Most of my shirts are large and they fit a little bit better. So again, in Canada, when you buy clothes, and this is true in other places too, like the United States, you have small, medium, large, XL, extra, extra, XXL. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit confused. But it depends what you are buying. I know when Jen buys clothes, she actually buys it by size. So a size 7 or a size 8 or a size 10. So it's different for men and women, okay? Women usually buy based on a number size, where a smaller woman who's very petite might buy a size 4 or 5, and a larger woman might buy a size 14 or 18, okay? I'm not an expert on clothing though, Natalia, but that is how you do it. Let me just check my time here. Yes, it is time for me to turn on members only chat. So if you're wondering what members only chat is, there are people who have decided that they want to thank me for the work that I do here on YouTube. And they do that by becoming members of my channel. So if you look below, you'll see that there is a button that says join, if it's available in your country. When you join my channel, you pay a little bit of money. I use it to buy equipment. Sometimes I buy coffee. Sometimes I buy Oscar dog treats. But either way, it's really nice when some of you join and become members. What do you get? You get to have your name in green in the chat. You get a crown beside your name during live streams. And you get an extra video on Wednesdays from me where I just kind of talk about life for a little bit. So if you are interested, you could scroll down to the description and it describes what members get. And I do appreciate every single person who is a member. You guys are awesome. You really, really do help me keep this channel rolling, and it is very helpful for me. I do want to buy a new camera this spring, and I'm waiting for a good sale because I'm cheap. That's how I work. Let's see here. American English says, Nightbot. I'm not sure of Nightbot's gender, so I call them they, but I know they are not nice. Yes, so we are starting in English to use the singular they. When you don't know a person's gender, we tend to use they now. So, oh, my friend is coming over, they're bringing some treats. So even though only one friend is coming over, because you don't know if it's a guy or girl, we would use they just to be safe. Let's see here. Panthera Nori's talking to Brent. Awesome. Let me see. Pas de question aujourd'hui. Merci beaucoup, Lolly Lolly. So Lolly has no question today. Lubika says, hi, Bob. Which sentence is correct? This lesson is on useful tools in the garage. This lesson is about useful tools in the garage. They are both right. And I always try to figure out which one to use. So I would say this lesson is about action verbs. This lesson is on action verbs. When we are describing a lesson, we can use both, Lubika. Moto Explorer says, hi, Teacher Bob. I admire the way you carry yourself, and could you give me advice to do more during the day? I'm from Ontario too. The days are really short this time of this year. So here's the one piece of advice, Moto Explorer, that I will give you. If I don't feel like doing anything, I make a list, and then I do all the things on the list that I don't want to do first. It's not something I invented. I read this on a blog once, but I make a list. If I have 10 things to do that day, I write them all down, and then I do the 4 things that I don't want to do first. Get them done, get them out of the way, and then everything else seems easier. Let's see here. Brent's talking about Nightbot still. Julia says, hi, dear teacher. Not actually an English topic question, but I'm curious, how often do you usually change your cars, and what was your worst car? So I always buy used vehicles. I buy used vehicles with very low kilometers on them, and I usually drive them for 7 to 10 years. I drive them till they don't work anymore because I don't like spending money on vehicles. My worst car that I ever bought, I think, was an old Ford Escort that I bought in university. Thanks, Julia. Sam the Taiwanese. Hi, Teacher Bob. How are you? I'm good. There are some courses that sell on YouTube, claim people can improve their speaking fluency rapidly in some particular ways. What's your perspective on that? My perspective is this. Learning a language is hard work. There is no magic to it. There's no fast way to learn a language. There's no way to, do some course where, in 30 days, you're going to have this amazing level of fluency. It's all about putting in the time and making sure the time you put in is effective time. So yeah, what is my view on it? Work at it. Make it part of your day. Make it part of every day of your week. Maybe take one day off, but make sure you're reading, writing, listening, and speaking every day as much as you can. Let's see. Zeev says, oh, wait, Satiraporn has become a member. Thank you very much, Satira. for joining and becoming a member of my channel. I appreciate it. Zeev says, hello, teacher. How are you today and how is the weather? It is sunny, but it's -7. So it's sunny and very cold outside right now. Sita says, Bob, I was missing these lessons because I was unable to join the last ones. Well, I'm glad that you're here now, Sita. Alina says, Teacher Bob, could you please explain this phrase, odds and ends? Our teacher gave us this expression yesterday, but I'm not sure I got the meaning of it. So Alina, in our kitchen, we have a drawer, and the drawer is filled with odds and ends. That means it's filled with all of the little things that don't belong anywhere else. There are some bolts and screws. There's a tape measure in there. There's elastic bands. There's paper clips. There's money like pennies and dimes and nickels. So odds and ends, usually you have a drawer where you keep odds and ends. They're just things that you don't know where else to put them. So a bunch of different things. Let's see here. Ming Yi says, thank you so much, Bob. Can you tell us a bit about describing eyesight? So not a lot, except that I had 20/20 vision, and now I wear reading glasses. People can be farsighted or nearsighted. So they either can see things far away but not close up, or they can see things close up but not far away. And then people wear glasses or they wear contacts. We don't say contact lenses very often. We just shorten it and we say contacts. Let's see here. Moto Explorer says, hi everyone. Panthera Nori says, dear Teacher Bob, the words afoot or astir means something is in progress. Do you use these words? Can you say some sample sentences with them? So when I say, oh, something is afoot or something is astir, it's something you would probably read in a story. And it does mean something is happening, something is in progress, but we don't use them very often in everyday speech. Let's see here. Julia is welcoming a new member. Moto Explorer says, hi, Teacher Bob. I admire the way you carry yourself. Wait. Oh, I think I answered that, Moto. Did I answer that? Yes, I did. Maybe I'm reading. Let me just scroll back here, make sure I'm getting everything. Yes, I think I did answer that. Do the hard things first. Do the things you don't like to do first before you do the hard things. Panthera, good advice. Thank you about what. Yes, excellent. Julia, Norma, that's new for me to call they to only one person, but that's so. Yes, Norma, if you go on Google and search the singular they, you'll find more information about how English is changing or has been changing for a while to use the singular they. Bernadette says, odds and ends des bricoles. The French R is hard for me, Bernadette. Panthera Nori, Teacher Bob, saying it's not immediately apparent can work as an answer for what's up, and the answer is like nothing special. When you say it's not immediately apparent, you're usually describing something where you're having trouble figuring out what's happening. So if someone was to say, why are all the fire trucks going downtown? You could say, I don't know, it's not immediately apparent, but I think there might be a fire. It means you can't see what's happening. Dave has gotten a question out of the one that got retracted. I'm sorry I had to remove your question because the phrase you were asking about is inappropriate. Just so you know, Bob wants to keep the chat family friendly. Yes, so sorry about that. We do try to keep all of the lesson family friendly, classroom friendly. So if you have a question about something that's a little on the edge, I usually don't answer it. So thanks, Dave, for taking care of that. Alina, thanks so much for your explanation. No problem. A for Anna. Hi, Bob. What is the difference between garment and clothes? So I think we had this question last week. Garment is just a general term for clothing. And we don't use it very much anymore. Like you don't pack your garments before you go on a trip. You could totally say that. I'm going to pack my garments and go on a trip. But it sounds a little bit funny. We would say I'm going to pack my clothes. So we use clothes instead of garment almost all the time. Let's see. Brent says, I learned from a student yesterday that MX can replace Mrs. or Mr. Yes, so even our pronouns of reference are slowly changing in English to be more accommodating. Let's see here. I'm going to skip the next question. Next one's from Rod. Rod says, how are you this Saturday? No question today, just to say hello and thank you. As always, have a great weekend. Yes, good to see you too, Rod. It was fun talking last Tuesday again. Rod and I have coffee on Tuesdays on Zoom. So we don't really have coffee. So in English, a coffee break doesn't have to include coffee. It's just when you take a break from work. So Rod is another English teacher. On Tuesdays, Rod takes a break from work. I take a break from work. We meet on Zoom and we have coffee. Although I think, was it last week or the week before? I actually did drink coffee during our coffee break the 1 week. Let's see here. Let me get back to the chat and there we go. So we are going to go back to normal chat mode. As I do that, I do want to once again say thank you so much to all of my members. And again, just a quick spiel. If you want to support my channel, there is a join button below and I appreciate it. It's not required, but it is something that you can do if you want to buy me a coffee or you want to just say thank you in that way. And I do appreciate it. Let's get back to the questions though. Let me just have a little peek at how far I am, because I think I'm making good progress today, but I don't know how far I'm going to get. Let's see here. Chal2 says, how to handle a customer when I am a cashier in the position of cashier. So if you were a cashier at a store and you were standing by your cash register and someone came up, you would probably, if it was a clothing store, say something like, did you find everything you were looking for? And if the person says yes, you would say, okay, I'll just ring you up. There's nothing that actually rings, but when you are a cashier, we usually say the cashier rings you up. That means that the cashier is finding your total. Then you would probably say, you might say, is that everything? But usually you just say that will be $10.83. And you'll probably say, how would you like to pay today? And then you would either take cash, which is money, or credit card, or debit, or Interact. There's a number of names for that. So that's a fast lesson right there on being a cashier. I have never been a cashier, but that's what the cashiers say to me. Francis has the next question. Hi, Bob. Good to see you. I wonder if this is well written. Nice talking to or nice to talk to? So here's how you would say it. If I had a conversation with you, when the conversation is done, I would say, nice talking to you. You could say, it was nice talking to you. Or you could say, nice talking to you. See you tomorrow. When I describe it later, I could say, it was nice to talk to you. Okay, so you see the difference? When we're done, I say, hey, nice talking to you. See you tomorrow. Then later in the day, if I'm talking to Jen, I say, oh, it was nice to talk to Rod, because I talk to Rod every week. It was nice to talk to Rod via Zoom. So there you go. Hopefully that made some sense. Yeah, Khaled, this is a tough one. Hi, teacher. I hope you are doing very well. I've been learning English for a long time and I'm frustrated. I'm feeling frustrated sometimes and nothing is going well. Please help. So I did fix a few things in there, Khaled. The number one thing you can do is find an English tutor that you can hire that you really like, okay? When you have an English tutor that you meet with once a week for 30 minutes or an hour, and if you really enjoy talking to that person, it will accelerate your learning of English. When you talk about how to speed up learning English, that's the number one thing I recommend to people. If you meet with someone every week, that will help. So Khaled, if you're not doing that, please do that. When I was improving my French, I had one tutor who was very, very nice to meet with. They were just an awesome person. And I just loved talking to them every week, okay? See how I use the singular they there? I was talking about one person, but I used they. They were just great. It was great to talk to them. So find a really good tutor. That's what I would say. Hater. Hi, Bob. I understand people talking in English, but I don't know how to talk. Please tell me what to do. The same thing. You have to start talking. Finding an English tutor that you can talk to would be awesome. But you also need to start reading out loud. You need to start saying out loud what you're doing as you go through the day. You need to listen to YouTube videos, stop them, and then say what the person is saying. You need to start practicing that speaking in as many ways as you can. That is what you need to do. Almira. Hello, Mr. Bob. Can you give advice on how to improve English from intermediate to advanced in a short time? Thank you, from Kazakhstan. This is what I would do. When I went from intermediate to advanced French, I booked a test 9 months in the future. And then because I knew that in 9 months I had to take a test, it made me work really hard. It made me super motivated to improve my English. So I read, my French. So I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I watched a lot of TV. I met with my tutor for an hour every week. So Elmira, if you are intermediate and you want to get to advanced in English, book a test. Tests are highly motivating. At least they were for me. Katerina says, hi, Bob. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? I think I talked about this last week in my members only video. I just want the world to be more peaceful. I would like it if people were just kinder to each other. I think so, for sure. Let's see here. The next question. Yeah, this is, I skipped one because it was a very hard grammar question. So sorry about that. But Batista says, can you explain what tense for things that I did this morning? I mean, in the same day. So this morning I ate breakfast. This morning I cooked eggs. This morning I drank a cup of coffee. So I'm going to use the past tense. Even though it's the same day, I'm going to use the past tense to talk about this morning. Let's see. Oh, Mohammed, this is a nice question. Hi, Bob. If I could nominate you for Teacher of the Year, I would. Thanks, Mohammed. I want to ask you about yourself. What is one of the misconceptions that people have about you? Thanks. So you all know me really well, okay? But I think when people don't know me in real life, they think I'm a really mean person. I think because I have really short hair, and if I'm not smiling, I think I look kind of mean. Let's try it. I don't know. I do know this. When students start taking classes with me, sometimes a week or two later, a student will say, oh, you're a really nice teacher. I thought you were mean. And I'm not sure why. But when people don't know me, they sometimes think I'm a mean person. Do I look mean? Let's try that again. I don't think I look that mean. Maybe I do. Who knows? Let's see here. So Zaydun says, I'm bad in English despite that I speak Arabic, but English grammar is more difficult than my native language. Can you please give me the best way to master English grammar? So studying grammar should not be the thing you do the most when you're learning English, but you do need to study it a little bit, okay? So I would do this. I would learn all of your basic verb tenses by watching YouTube videos and maybe get a grammar book to help you practice. But most of your grammar you will learn through reading and through absorbing English audio. So do that a lot as well. The more you hear people use the grammar correctly, the easier it will be for you to do the same. Let's see here. Let's see. Do I have to, this is from Shahjahan. Do I have to speak English slower or faster in order to make someone understand better? Will people think I am a bad speaker if I speak in English slower? No. I know when I'm talking to students who are learning English at my school, we have students from China, we have students from different places in Europe. And when they speak slowly, that's fine with me. I like that. There's no problem. I would say speak as slowly and clearly as you can. That's what I would recommend. Ozkan. Hi, Bob. Do you have any suggestions to improve our writing skills? Thank you in advance. So first of all, find someone who you can write emails to, who's willing to write emails back to you, but also ask that person to correct your writing. The best way to improve writing is to do writing, but to also have someone correct your writing. So I recommend people meet with an English tutor once a week to speak English. If you're doing that, you should also make sure that English tutor is helping with your English writing. It's very, very helpful. Let me just check where I'm at. So quite a few questions. I'll probably get through, if you just submitted a question, I probably won't get to it. But I probably will get through quite a few. So if I would stop asking questions now using the form because I probably won't get to it. Let's see here. Gerardo, what's the meaning of put up or shut up? So there's a few spelling mistakes in there, but it's put up or shut up. Thanks. Basically what it means is stop complaining about your job, like do your job, or shut up. That's basically what you're saying to someone in a really rude and informal way. Let's see here. I'm going to skip the next one because it's a grammar question. It's not that I don't like grammar, it's just hard to explain quickly. So next question, Lubica. Dear Teacher Bob, which sentence is correct? Our windows are cleaned by a cleaning company every spring. That one's correct. Our windows are cleaned by a cleaning company every spring. Okay, number 1 is correct. Number 2, we have our windows cleaned by a cleaning company. Also correct. You can say both, okay? It's just 2 different ways of saying the same thing. Let's see here. I do want to stop and just thank the 614 people who are watching. There is a subscribe button there if you want to click it. It's totally free, and you get notified when I make a new English lesson. So let's see here. Artur. So the difference between anymore and anymore is just in terms of quantity. Okay, so listen to this. I don't smoke anymore. So that's where it's one word, okay, anymore. I don't smoke anymore. That means I no longer do it. But if I say, are there any more candies? Then it's 2 words. Hopefully that made sense. Let's see. Any more refers to quantity. So when it's 2 words, it's quantity. And any more as 1 word refers to time. So that should help you a bit to remember. I'm going to skip the next question because it's a grammar question. So sorry about that. Next question from Israel. Hi, Teacher Bob. How are you? What does unfair mean? And I could have gotten. Thanks a lot. So when something is unfair, it means that you feel like it's not fair. It's not just. Something happened that wasn't right. Okay. So let's say, let me see let me describe something. If I had 2 cookies and 3 of my kids wanted a cookie and I gave a cookie to 2 of my kids, the 3rd kid could say that's unfair. They could also say that's not fair. And then the phrase I could have gotten, it simply refers to something in the past that could have happened. Okay. So you could say something like, I saw a car for sale and I could have gotten the car for $100. That means you didn't buy it, but if you had bought it, you would have gotten the car for $100. I hope that's making sense. I feel like my explanations are a little unclear right now. Sorry about that, but I'm going to keep going because that's what Bob the Canadian does. Let's see here. Muhammad says, hi, dear sir. I have a couple of questions. How foreign students can earn in Canada and how much does it cost to study in Canada? And are there scholarships? So I don't exactly know, Muhammad, how students, when they come to Canada, can make money. I think what you're asking is a student from another country allowed to work in Canada? And I'm not sure. You would have to ask whatever university or whatever school you are going to. How much does it cost? I don't know that either. I think it probably costs close to $20,000 a year to study in Canada. That's a pretty normal cost for living and for your courses. But you would, again, need to check at the specific university. Let's see here. There's a lot of grammar questions that I'm just skipping over. So if you don't see me answer your question, that's probably why. And here we have a question from Decker. Hi, Bob. Do natives really perceive a pronunciation difference between bet and bat, bed and bad? Yes. So if you go to a horse race, you can bet on the horse race. You can bet. You can say, I'll bet $10 that horse number 7 will win. Sometimes at night, you will see a bat flying outside, or when you play baseball, you will use a bat. So you make a bet, you swing a bat. There is a difference, bet and bat. I hope you can hear it. At night, I go to bed, and sometimes I have a bad sleep. So bed is where you sleep, and bad is something that's not good. Hopefully that made some sense. Let me see where I'm at. I'm on Decker. Here we go. Next question is from Nursida. Hi, Bob. Have a nice day. What's the meaning of silver lining? It's when something happens that you don't like, but there's actually something good about it. Maybe you have a job and your boss fires you, and that's a bad thing. But because you were fired, you can actually go and work for your cousin and make more money. So we would say that getting fired had a silver lining. So even though it was something bad, something good came out of it. Let's see here. Another grammar question. A lot of grammar questions. I should put like a warning. Please don't ask grammar questions. Next question is from Mizbah. Says, hello, Teacher Bob. What does it mean they're hard to miss? So if I said to Jen, when you go to the grocery store, buy some of those new apples. There's a new variety of apples. They're right at the front door. They're hard to miss. That means that something is in a location where it's very easy to see. Okay. So if I was to say to Jen, yeah, get some of those new apples. They're right at the front of the store. They're hard to miss. It means it's easy to see them, and you should have no trouble finding them. That's how I would describe that. Safulo. Hi from Tajikistan. My question is that I can fully understand you, but I have a problem with speaking. Could you give me some advice? Thank you, Bob, for what you're doing. So first of all, it's very easy when learning a language to do a lot of listening, to do a lot of reading, to do the things that are where you're getting input. It's always hard to learn output. It's hard to learn to write, and it's hard to learn to speak. So two things you can do. I sound like a broken record, but get an English speaking partner. And I would also say, start to practice your writing. At the end of the day, try to write down the things you did that day. Anytime you are going to have a conversation, make sure you are ready to ask questions and ready to talk about yourself. So you can do that by doing some writing so that later you are ready to do that. But get a tutor. A tutor is so nice to have. It's just so helpful. So Philip from Romania, do you have any advice for the SAT English test? I have 600 out of 800. How can I improve? Well, first of all, it sounds like you've already taken the test, so you're familiar with the test. So I would buy from Amazon or some other bookstore an SAT practice kit. So it will have audio and it'll have exercise books and it will help you learn to do that. I would also do a search on YouTube for that very question. And maybe another English teacher has made a video where they can help you with that. Let's see. Maggie says, good evening from Taiwan, Teacher Bob. I'm wondering if there are any racial issues in Canada. Yes. So we are very similar to the United States. We are a country that has a history where there is racism. There is still racism today. So we very much have some of the same problems as the United States. We are trying to work hard to be a country of equality, and we're trying to be a country that welcomes everyone and that just treats everyone fairly. So definitely we do have many of the same problems as the United States, and we are working hard to try and fix them. Andrew, can you please recommend some books for C2? So again, C2 is a very high level of English. So I would say this, Andrew, if you are interested in science, you should be reading science books. If you are reading a lot, you should be reading everything on the New York Times bestseller list, fiction and nonfiction. You should be reading what native English speakers read, but also be reading in different subject areas so that you develop your knowledge of all kinds of areas. Read books on farming, read books on rockets, read books on marine life, read everything in as many different areas as you can. Let me see here. So Ayaka says, could you explain the difference between something is a hassle, difficult, tough, stiff, and hard? I really like your English lessons, by the way. Thank you. So first of all, the first three words, if something is a hassle, if something is difficult, and if something is tough, it means it's not easy to do. Okay. So Let's see. You might take a class and you could say, oh, this class is really difficult. This class is really tough. That means it's hard. And if you say it's a hassle, it's hard and you also don't enjoy it, okay? So for me, it's always a hassle to get the groceries from the van into the house when I come home. So those three words all refer to something that isn't easy to do. Stiff and hard mean the same thing. So it just simply means it's not soft and it doesn't bend. Let's see here. So Sveta says, hi, Bob, what is the difference between, I think you're saying field and fields, wood and woods in sentences. So we do need to add an E, okay? So field. So the cow is in the field. The farmer has lots of fields, okay? So a field is a big open area. A tree is made out of wood. If you cut down a tree, it's made out of wood. But if you have a whole bunch of trees in one place, you might call it the woods. So woods is more like forest. That would be the difference between those two. Let me see here. I'm going to skip the next one from Dr. Sanjib because it has a YouTube link in it. Let's see here. Alina, here's the question. How many English tenses do you really use in your life? All 12 or even more? I would say that English speakers use almost all of the tenses. My plan is to make a YouTube English lesson on every tense this year. Every couple weeks, I'm doing a lesson on a different verb tense. I'm going to cover all of them. And, you know, honestly, we do use almost all of them. It's pretty normal. If you know 4 or 5, if you can comfortably talk about the present, the future, and the past, you can have really good English conversations. But that would still be 6 different tenses, I think. So yes, we definitely use them all for sure. Hey folks, I'm going to wrap this up. I think we've been doing this for an hour. I do apologize to those of you whose questions I didn't get to. That's just how this works. I'm sorry, I can't answer every question. I know for some of you it is a little bit frustrating, but it is a time where we can spend together and hopefully you were able to learn something from other people's questions. Do remember that it's useful to watch this video again. If there were parts of the video that you didn't quite understand, come back in a day or two and watch that part again. If there was a question where you didn't understand the answer, watch it again. There's usually subtitles, automatically generated subtitles, that can be helpful. I do want to say thank you to the 678 people watching. Please do subscribe to my channel. And if you want to do more than subscribe, please consider joining. I like that as well. Thanks to Todd and Dave for moderating. You guys are awesome. Thanks to all of my members who are here. Thanks to Alina and Sam, the Taiwanese, and Maudie and Bernadette and Panthera Nori and Julia and Lolly and Rod and Brent, the American teacher, American English with this guy whose name is Brent. Corey J is here as well. Thank you to all of you who support my channel. You guys are awesome. You help make this work. So that's great. Did I thank Todd and Dave? Thanks, Todd and Dave, for moderating. I think I said that already. I think I'm saying things more than once, which means it's time to click the button and end the live stream. By the way, if you have time, go and watch my video from this past Tuesday. I'm not going to say it was great, but I'll tell you this. I think 4 times as many people watch that video as normally watch a video. So it must at least be a little bit entertaining. I do dance in it a little bit, not a lot. I'll put a link to it for you. Just give me a sec here. In a moment, Nightbot will share a link to that video. Anyways, bye everyone. Have a great Saturday. Have a good day. And I'll see you next Friday with